Back. Welcome back to part 2 of the Truth Quest, episode 162, part 2. And welcome back, friends. I hope that you are all back, and I'm going to share this out again to my friends on Facebook. We are live again. Live. See how long this lasts. Live again. Here we go. Off into the wild blue yonder. Off we go. Hello, Just Josh, Peggy Dancer. All right. And Catherine Weiss and Mud Rabbit. Yes, I believe that we are back. We are back. Bigger and better than ever. Hopefully, let's see if this thing will work this time. Let's just cross our fingers. And this is the one that jammed us up last time, friends. Let's see if it's going to work this time. Oh my goodness, there it is. See, he's got the little dinky hands here. And I think his front hands are the only things missing in those pictures from earlier. Very astounding. Very, very astounding. And for those of you who were not here to see it, this mummified remains of an actual dinosaur that's pictured here. I mean, I'm sure they can probably make some changes to that picture from studying this. I mean, you can see the scales. It's incredible. It's incredible. So here we go. We'll show you that one more time for all those who missed it on the first part. So here it is. Look at that darn thing. Just laying there in Tennessee, waiting for someone to find it. Can you imagine how many critters were scared just walking up to that thing? Whoa, what's this? Yeah. Scary. Look at that. It just blows me away. Blows me away. Hello, Gloria. Gloria Paddock, welcome to the show. Yeah, we're back. Yay. Yes, we are, Lucid Heart. And D. Marquez. Hey. Yeah. Good to see you here. Glad everyone found us back again. Here we are. Our second attempt at this, trying to deliver a little bit of truth here. Running into some roadblocks on April 1st. If this were any other day than April 1st, I might be swayed. Really? Well, yeah. That did come across to my mind. Well, it is April Fool's. Could be paper mache. Well, but I'm hoping it's real. You know, you can only hope. We need some of this good stuff. So there it is, a dinosaur, a mummified dinosaur where some of his organs, I think it's missing its front feet, its front hands. They're very little, apparently, according to the drawings that they have. But so there you go, a mummified dinosaur found in Tennessee, of all places. And there's still skin and tendons and some guts still in it. I mean, it's a miraculous find. It doesn't really look like it was under anything. It was kind of out in the open, at least as of recently. Look at that. I don't know, maybe a recent mudslide might have uncovered it. Who knows? But it looks pretty ominous. And they want to bring this thing back? No. How about no? Who's running the show anyway? Dr. Evil? I think so. Maybe the real Dr. Evil. I love the way Dr. Evil never even swore. He said frickin'. He never even used the F word. And yet he was Dr. Evil. Right? So funny. So funny on so many levels. There we go. That's the dino news, baby. We got dino news for you. How do you like that? I saw this. I thought it was kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. So this is one of those. This is just a screenshot of one of those crazy things where you can like make it move around by moving your cursor. Well, this is just a still I took because of this. Look, Mars Science Laboratory. They got a little fancy little sticker on it. But other than this sticker, the rest of this, it's very unimpressive looking. Look at this. Okay, what are they making these tires out of? They're braking. Okay, that's not good. And the rest of this thing, it doesn't look. It's not very well designed. Let's just say. And it looks like this is purposely shadowed. I don't know. Or is this superimposed over something to make it? It looks like it's hiding something, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks unnatural here. It looks different than the surrounding stuff. And there's some crazy shadowing things happening here. I'm not sure. I may be a pieced together picture from many pictures. Here's his curiosity here. Look at that. I mean, this thing looks kind of cool, but the rest of this, look at that. It's a mess. It's like, well, we'll have to put some zip ties on it. So, I mean, we're not going to impress any extraterrestrials. That's what I'm saying here. They're going to see this and go, oh boy, who designed this thing? Oh my goodness. It looks like junk. To me, it looks like junk. Sorry. We could design much better looking things than this. Why don't we, let the designers design it instead of letting engineers design it? Engineers design things that look like this. A designer would make it look cool. We need to make things. It's 2022. Everything should look cool at this point. Come on now. Don't you think? I think. Oh, looks like we have someone in the house. We're admitting Matthew Rose. Okay. Matthew Rose. Let's see what Matthew has to say.
Hello.
Hello, Matthew. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
If I was doing any better, I'd be you. What's up?
Nothing. I used to listen to your Bashago calls, but I had once spoken to him on Facebook, and I don't know, things didn't go well, and he was always fighting with that one guy who called in, so I never really spoke to you before, but
Oh, okay.
I've heard you a few times.
Okay.
But no, I'm a big fan of his. I've heard most of his stories. I sort of believe most of it, but
yeah,
I think it originally he shared his childhood story, and then later he added the Mars story, which always seemed a little strange.
Right.
But the whole childhood Pegasus stuff is extremely interesting, to say.
Yeah. Well, apparently, Brett Stillings had approached him, had contacted him, heard him on Art Bell, and he remembered being on Mars with Andy. And the way I understand it, at that point, Andy had not remembered his Mars visitations because they had blank slating that worked very well, apparently. When Andy was going through the blank slating in Project Pegasus when he was a kid, he was saying to himself, I'm going to remember. He was, actively fighting this the um, the blank slating. It did work to an extent, but he worked to get those memories back. That's why he took all those trips and met all those people. You know, he had like 8 different people verify his story. So I don't know how people can not believe his story. He's got so many witnesses.
Yeah, I mean, I don't doubt it. I mean, I grew up near West Orange, near the Edison Labs, where
Okay.
allegedly his father worked on some of this Tesla technology.
Yeah.
And then I visited most of these factories that he's mentioned in his interviews just to sort of see what's going
Oh,
on.
really? Interesting. So what did you find out?
I mean, like there's a church that he mentioned in East Hanover, which
Okay.
it's just a tiny schoolhouse, which is very unassuming, but like he claimed that's where he, I believe, went to the Lincoln speech out of this tiny building in East Hanover. So I checked it out.
Wow.
And then he discusses the Curtis Wright factory.
Yeah. Building 68. Yeah.
And I think that building, there is still a building outside of Woodridge, New Jersey, a very random town.
Yeah.
I mean, no, nothing. Like these places are there, and you can go and walk around and see them. But no, I mean, I generally believe him, and I don't think anyone else is like investigating it. And
Right.
I mean, I just go by and hope like I'm gonna see a time traveler or something, but I don't. I mean, I don't.
Well, maybe you didn't see my time machine. Did you see my time machine?
Uh oh, there you go. No,
Yeah.
but like no, I mean I've had some weird experiences in my life, and I don't. I've met people here and there, but no, like one. I saw like an interesting car, and so I did go to the Bashago childhood home, and
Okay.
there was like some 70s cars there, which I thought was cool, like a Beetle and maybe like a Corvette or something. Like
Yeah.
so that just seemed kind of, but I mean I don't think it was his family, and
No, probably not.
I didn't want to be like, do you know this is the time traveler's home or whatever. So but I found it. I mean, I think he gave the address to you
Yeah.
or someone else. So
Yeah.
I don't think anyone else like shows up and goes to the address, but I'll.
Yeah. Apparently, the 9-year-old boy who lost both of his feet, he slid off of his ankles,
Yeah, yeah.
teleported. He lived right down the road from him.
Oh. Well, yeah, I mean,
Still does, I think.
part of his story is that he would go from like the gifted and talented program in his own elementary school,
Right.
and that the teachers in the like, so I was like, I never was fully accepted into my own gifted and talented program, so I always wondered like what goes on in gifted and talented, like it.
I taught some gifted and talented courses at an
But
elementary school in Hopkins, Minnesota, on invention and cartooning for second grade to fourth grade kids.
oh yeah, so I mean he says there was like a Montauk chair in his own
Right.
elementary school or.
Oh, and he called me the other day, and he was talking about this gentleman. What was his name? And he was claiming that he was talking about the Montauk project and the Montauk chair, and he said Montauk really went public in the early 70s when a bunch of school children teleported and time traveled with the Montauk chair. And then Andy was listening to it. He goes, hey, I was in that program. So where's this guy's name? I had it written down here.
So yeah, but Bashaga would get all defensive with that one guy, which just made it was so entertaining, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
You
Well,
know, not
and
for your purposes, but just in general.
the whole idea of the show really was so that Andy could reconnect with the people who like to hear about his story, because he used to be, as you probably know, very, very public in his Facebook. Um, I mean, I used to converse with him in Facebook a lot, especially when he was running for
Yeah,
president.
but
When
I
he was
don't. There was. I guess he was a. I didn't know he was a speechwriter for the Kennedy speech. I think something happened with the Kennedy speech, and
yeah, yeah.
and I don't. It was so misconstrued what the original person was trying to say and what he was defending. It wasn't even like a.
It was a
Weren't even on the same argument. It
it
was
was a
very.
train wreck, and that's the reason these shows were kind of pulled down, because we really weren't getting the quality calls that we thought we were going to get.
But I don't know. That's why I never call. I'm into different stuff. I don't know if you ever heard of like Ion and Bob Dobbs. That's something I'm into.
Mm-mm.
These people, but no, I've listened to Bashago has been going on way back when. I don't even know what show he showed up on, but like I've listened to him and
Art Bell, he was on Art Bell first, I think.
yeah,
You know,
true.
the thing is, we know DARPA spends trillions of dollars developing these cutting edge technologies. Why wouldn't they have this stuff by now? If they're spending trillions of dollars a year for decades and decades and decades, they darn well better have all this stuff, you know?
Sure, they almost have a vaccine or something, right? Like so we're we can create anything in 3 months, right?
Yeah, yeah, the
I mean,
shot,
yeah, I mean,
shot heard around the world.
I'm sure there's definitely high weirdness going on. I wouldn't
Yeah.
doubt.
So what's your story? What kind of work do you do? And you say you research Bishago and a few other people.
I was mainly doing some background acting in New York City for
Okay.
years until like the vaccine sort of pushed me out. Uh, I don't know. My father had like a check cashing business in Newark, New Jersey, to be honest,
Yeah.
and studied economics. No, I mean I'm very into the fringe and cult and doubt, but just true knowledge. I mean, I think there's information's like actually available. Your show, I think you offer good truth. I mean, I just try to listen to people without, taking anything as gospel. You just people share. I like to listen to people's like true statements of their own experience.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Um, I was pulled out of my class in second grade for speech therapy. So, and just went to this other room and did a lot of art and talked my R's and S's. So they do pull kids out, and but I don't think that I was pulled into any kind of program or anything. I don't think so. But
No, I mean the story's just so unbelievable, but at the same time, it's just believable. I mean,
well, it's believable
I
to
don't.
me because I don't know about you, but I was a kid when we landed on the moon, and I just was so excited. I was so excited for the future, and I was just positive that if I was like 8 or 9 years old when the moon shot happened. And I thought, wow, by the time I'm 30, I'll be able to vacation on the moon, or at least in space. Well, I'm way past 30. Okay. So where the hell is it? So if you think about the timeline of our development from the very first human flight at Kitty Hawk, our supposed first flight at Kitty Hawk, to landing on the moon in 1969 publicly, that was only 66 years. Okay. It's been 53 years since then, or 54, whatever it is, over 50 years. So uh, we naturally should be way, way, way farther than we are. So it only makes sense that these secret programs exist because we didn't stop developing. They just stopped telling the public about it. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily believe like the footage is accurate. I think a lot of the footage seems to be fake.
Oh, the moon footage?
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't, I
yeah,
mean, I don't,
that's been settled. That's been settled. And a lot of people still talk about this. I've covered it a lot on my show.
I
You know,
know, I'm
Nixon's, Nixon's cabinet got together, and just recently is a video. I don't know when it was. Alexander Haig and all the people who were in Nixon's cabinet, and they were like going, "Okay, we're going to the moon." Someone made a suggestion. Hey, why don't we use the set of the moon that's already built and get some shots of the moon in case these experimental cameras don't work, or if the astronauts, they're obviously not photographers, they've never tested these things. They said, well, just in case that cameras don't work and we don't get any pictures, we need to have something to show to the public, so let's just do this. And they went back and forth, and finally Nixon said, okay, let's do it. So they did it. And then when they went up there, voila, the cameras worked, but the footage was so crappy. And then you're looking at, okay, here's the ones from the studio, and here's the ones that astronauts did. Let's put some of these other ones in there. And that's what they did. And so that's what people point at now to say that it was faked. Some of the photographs were faked because they did it as an insurance policy, but they ended up using some because they were so good, you know?
I mean, sure. I mean, my general idea is they faked some footage as a story. I think maybe they have the technology to go to the moon, but the NASA astronauts are not, those were just actors, 3 actors and 3 hired NASA astronauts who are different people. They couldn't even get the lines right. Like, they told the actor what to say and he couldn't get the line right. And then the actor who plays the NASA astronaut has to explain why the line isn't correct. I mean, it doesn't even make sense, to be honest, how
So you,
they don't.
you don't believe that we went to the moon. Well, if you have a
Not on the camera, not on the Apollo NASA footage. I mean, they could go tomorrow. I mean, somebody's there. I don't know, but not the TV footage is filmed on the like most likely the United States of America in a film studio,
some of
and
it
it's
was
not relayed through space to the moon. No,
some of it was actually from the moon. That's the crappy footage that you see, the crappy footage that looks like astronauts took it and not a serious filmographer. Like
I don't know, and I don't like to like argue. I mean, I'm just sharing what I believe.
okay, but I obviously looked into this for many years, and a long time ago I thought, oh yeah, look at that shadow. I was caught up in it, but there are pictures of every single landing site from telescope. You can get, if your telescope is powerful enough, you can see all of the landing sites and where the rovers are, their tracks, everything. And I've got a picture that has like all of them. There's like 5 or 6 of them. And you can photograph them yourself. You can photograph them. Now, some people may say, oh, well, that could be just a hologram. Well, what do you get?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I don't, this is just one example of something.
Well, it's easy to think that everything is fake when so many things we've been lied to about. But
Yes,
some
and
things we really did. I mean, if you want to read a book about the landing on the moon and what it actually took to land on the moon, get this book, Selected by Extraterrestrials by
right.
William Mills Tompkins. My Life in the Top Secret World of UFOs, Think Tanks, and Nordic Secretaries.
That's the Bill Tompkins who did the interview with Kerry Cassidy where he
Yep.
talked about. He
did about
talks about
100
Nazis and almost
reptilians.
got killed and then did get killed over that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he may have. I heard he fell in his apartment, his house.
Yeah, that's one of the best Project Camelot interviews because he actually goes into Nazis and
Oh, have you read the
Werner
book?
von Braun's Nazi
Have you read
NASA.
this book?
No, I should.
You've got to read it now. There's a second
I should.
volume that came out, but it's not as thick, and it has some.
Yeah, he has passed, right?
He has passed away, or else he's in a secret space program working, and they gave him the youth pills that they were working on, where you take 3 pills over a course of 3 months, and you age regress. Men will age regress back to age 29, then they'll be that age for 1,000 years. Women regress to age 21, and they stay that age for 1,000 years. And he was in line to get these, so maybe they did. Who knows? That's.
No,
I hope it's true. I mean, he deserves it.
no, that's awesome. That's a great book.
But
I'm
in here,
familiar.
in addition to all that stuff, he also talks about the fact that he was one of the people in the think tank working on the Apollo program. And the Apollo program was more than just landing on the moon and coming back. They were going to build a base on the moon and then go out from there to Mars and beyond. And he designed these Nova rockets that were going to send up boring machines, those super heavy boring machines. They were sending those to the moon and beyond in these Nova rockets that he designed. He also designed miles-long spacecraft for the Navy that were built and deployed in the 1980s in the Solar Warden program, which Corey Goode was part of. And he designed the computer checkout system that all 30,000 of the subcontractors for the Apollo program had to make their parts work with all the other parts through this computer checkout system that he designed. He designed it. He had access to alien technology, crash wreckage stuff. He also had access to 1,000 or 2,400 people or 1,400 people that Germany discovered, hey, look at all these people. They're like congregating together and they're working together on trying to build this massive spaceship. Like shoemakers and farmers and engineers, they were all having these dreams to build this spaceship. And so the Nazis said, okay, we're going to take you guys, put you underground. You're going to work for us. But it wasn't working. So they let them kind of go off on their own and do what they want. And they were going to keep tabs on them. But so he not only designed the computer checkout system for all 30,000 subcontractors for all the parts for the Apollo, so to make sure it would all work. Otherwise, it might not have worked. He also designed the way rockets were built, because we were building rockets, horizontally and then tipping them up when they were done, and then sometimes they would explode. Well, he had the idea, let's build them vertically. And he designed the buildings they're made in. He designed the way they built them. He designed the area where the scientists are sitting and getting all the information from the telemetry and everything. He designed that. And he also designed an underground secret observation room where they got all the information first. And he saw what the Apollo astronauts saw when they looked out the window and they landed on the moon. And that's what ham radio operators, have you heard this? Ham radio operators, hundreds of them, recorded this. They're like, they're huge, sir. They're huge. They're hovering above the crater. There's a bunch of gigantic spaceships up here watching us. We know. Turn the camera away. Stop talking about it. There was like 2 minutes of dead air. That's when they were trying to get him to point the camera away and stop talking about these things. He did a sketch of it, and I'm trying to find it right here for you. Just phenomenal what he saw.
So if there's this alien presence like at the highest level, how does it just like almost not exist? in our reality at the same time.
Well, people can keep things pretty secret if they really try. Look at all the secret societies and all the stuff that's been going on behind our backs that we didn't know about, and all the, the island excursions of these sick and perverted people. We never knew about this stuff before.
Fair.
It's all coming to light. It's all coming to light, and it's all deep and dark, and it's being directed by something demonic, and it just makes sense that it would be these. Here is the building that he designed for the. It's an L-shaped building for the to build the rockets in, and then this is the computer checkout system he designed.
Nice. I mean, I'm Jewish. I think there definitely was a Holocaust. I think there's some theories as to whether the gas chambers actually existed, and I might be in a very small
Really?
group that may not believe there was gas chambers.
Really?
I think they killed people at a very high rate, and they did burn the bodies. But the explanation of pouring gas into these buildings without real sealed doors doesn't make sense. And it might have been a few million less than 6 million. But these are just like, I mean, Nazis are definitely bad people and definitely killed Jews. But Jews do lie about how that went down. That's for sure.
Well, here's some of the rockets that he designed. And some of the bigger, fatter ones are those Nova rockets.
Right. And then they eventually just came to create NASA. A lot of Nazis came and.
Right. Werner von Braun, look at that, there he is. And mixed up with Disney too. Think about that. With all we know about Disney. So it was his idea also to make these trams for the rockets to bring them out to transport them to the launch pad. It was all William Tompkins in the think tank. These were all his ideas. He got us to the moon. And when they say we can't go to the moon anymore, yeah, because he did it. He did it, and
But I don't know, it's all secret, right? I mean,
he had access to all secret stuff when he was doing this. Here's the sketch. What he saw, what the astronauts saw on the moon. This is what they saw, and what ham radio operators have audio of. Look at that. Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
That's what they saw. And there's the Earth hovering in the background. Now, I took this and I did a digital drawing of it. And I've shown that in some of my other shows.
So how did you get into this stuff?
I saw a UFO in 1996 over Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin, in the afternoon, in broad daylight, about 3 in the afternoon.
Large?
Exactly like this.
Small or large?
It was about the length of my finger at arm's length in the sky. Okay, it was close. So if you hold your hand out and hold your finger out like this,
yeah,
that's how big it was in the sky. And it was going zip, 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 and it would stop and go at different right angles and stop. And it looked exactly like the sport model. This is exactly what it looked like. I don't know, my green screen's making it disappear kind of because it's clear. But that's exactly what it looked like. It didn't wobble. It was very precise, and it freaked me out. It totally, because I didn't believe in this stuff. I never believed.
I saw that exact thing when I was a kid, going down to Atlantic City with my parents. I was in the back seat on the highway, and I remember thinking it looked too much like the pictures of it. Like what you just saw, it's like that's the exact idea of what it looks like. And I remember thinking it was very small. It was smaller than I thought it would be. So I thought it was almost like a remote controlled object.
Yeah.
but like there was no people there. And then I sort of just realized what it was, and I didn't like mention it to my parents because I figured they would just kind of like blow me off.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I saw that exact thing as a kid, and it changed my life. I mean, I had other experiences, but it
Yeah.
was only it was probably 4 feet wide, and
Did
it
it come?
was what you just showed me. I saw once as a
Did it
kid.
come pretty close to you?
Uh it was like hovering over a lake off the highway, almost as if it was like a toy helicopter, but like it was noticeable enough that like I recognized it was there for me. Like it was not coincidental. Like it was like it's the experience I'm sharing was like meant to happen. I could
Yeah. Interesting.
No, I mean there was like slight communication. Like I mean I had all these ideas about it and like my own future and like I was like it I accepted what it was very quickly as a kid. Like it was like, oh wow, those are real. There it is.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, just
Once.
because you showed it, like I don't share that often. But I mean, I've had other experiences, but what you just hung, it's like, no, I just remember thinking it was smaller. I remember thinking I had more to do, like I was connected to it. I might have been
Mhm.
in it. It might have been my future. And this was all like very quickly thinking about that. So like all these kind of profound thoughts over it without being shocked were like
Mhm.
there was a lot of like connection to it.
Yeah, it was freaky when I saw mine too. But I had a video camera with me, so after
Yeah.
I pulled my car over because I saw it out of the side window of my car. I'm like, holy crap, what the heck is that? And so I pulled over, and there was no one else on the highway. I pulled over. It was just outside of Chippewa Falls on the way to Minnesota, not quite to 94 yet. So it's kind of a desolate kind of an area. And this thing was just zipping around. I got out of my car and I'm just looking at the thing, zip, zip, zip. I'm thinking, okay, it's not an airplane, it's not a helicopter. Hot air, like a mylar balloon caught in a wind vortex, maybe, but that would be rocking a little bit. It would be, it wouldn't be crisp, crisp uh, edges like that and moving so precisely and stopping, So I thought, wait a minute, I got my video camera. So I grabbed my video camera out of my car. It was a Sony Handycam. I had the thumb button. So I hit the thumb record button. It powered up and then it powered down. It didn't get not even one single frame. And that battery never took a charge after that. I had to get a new battery for it. So and then it took off at like light speed. It just took off. And so there I was, no evidence, and just with the profound memory and knowing that these things exist now, that no one can tell me they don't because I've seen one. And just because I didn't get any kind of footage doesn't mean I didn't see it. I definitely saw it. I don't stop my car and look in the sky at nothing, you know. And I wish I would have gotten just one frame, but it didn't happen. So that's my
Oh,
story.
I mean, well, there seems to be a lot of like holographic type craft or transforming craft that the American companies can build that
Yeah,
can either like shift from discs to airplanes to black helicopters. And
yeah, yeah. Well,
I don't know if that's directly the same thing or they've copied some of the technologies, but
well,
I think, I mean, if you look over Manhattan, there's like black helicopters and what appears to be airplanes.
okay.
But if you spend enough time watching the patterns, it's almost like they just go left and right and left and right. And
Hmm.
it might be almost these like black op transforming things.
Okay.
But I mean, so I think on a daily basis they fly like what can appear to be either a disc or an airplane. But I don't know. I mean, most people aren't too concerned, and they would just think it's an airplane or whatever.
Right.
There's definitely these like transforming holographic things. That's the whole Boeing and Skunk Works and
Hmm.
the whole
Um,
UFO and like
uh,
just American airplane industry has somehow connected.
okay. I'm going to put a link in the chat here, and it's for a video I came across yesterday. It's part one of two interviews with Salvador Payas. Have you heard of this guy? He's the
No.
guy that released three to the public, 3 Navy patents for anti-gravity effects, one for a super large amount of energy, like what do you call it? Free energy, basically. And it's all through the Navy. So Salvador Payas has been very interesting character. People have been wondering who this person is, and this is a really good interview. It gets very technical. It's on a channel called Theories of Everything with Kurt Jamungal. It's Jaimungal. Kurt Jamungal. Very, very interesting program. Give him a like and a follow there, because he got Salvador Payas to come out, and he has not made any public appearances. I think this is one of his first ones. He's gotten ridiculed like crazy, which is really a sad thing. He's bringing forward these revolutionary technologies and giving them to the public. He's not even getting any percentage of any of it. So it's very interesting. So check it out. It's very technical. And my buddy Maxwell Smart's going to love it. I can't wait to tell him about it if he calls in tonight.
All right. Well, I appreciate what you're doing. I just wanted to introduce myself. I've been a fan of your show, so
Okay, well, thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it, Matthew.
yes, good luck. I'll give you a call sometime.
All right, peace in.
Take care.
All right. Oops. All right, there we go. All right. And it looks like we have another caller. Back from the future could be Mr. Back. Is this back as in back in the back from the future? Connecting to his audio. Back from the future. Hello?
Aaron? Yeah, Aaron?
Yeah.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, is this Mr. Future?
Oh, back, yeah. What you doing, man?
Make sure you mute the stream in the background if you're watching it on YouTube. Make sure you mute the
Oh, okay, let me do that.
all right.
I'll just cancel out of it.
So you're back from the future. That's right. Right? Is that who you are?
Yes, sir.
So what part of the future are you back from? How far in the future are you from?
I was told 25,000 years is what I was told.
Oh, told by who?
The people there.
The people where?
This planet in the future. I landed there and I said I was lost and I thought I had died.
Okay.
And I asked them if I had died, and they laughed at me and they're like, "No, you didn't die." And like, okay, so where am I at? And
This
they
sounds
said that,
familiar. Do I know you? I think I know you.
of course you know me.
Okay, this is Mr. McIntosh?
No,
No? Who is it?
I'm just me, man. I'm nobody. No, nobody back here.
You
Back
sound
here.
so familiar. Okay, I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
So these people, they tell me, I thought I died. I said, well, where am I at? And they said, well, you're on Earth. I'm like, okay. It didn't look like Earth. I mean, nothing looked the same. And I said, what happened? They're like, well, you traveled to the future. I'm like, I did? They're like, yeah, this is 25,000 years in your future. And I was like,
Wow.
holy crap, seriously? And he's like, yeah, here, I'll show you around. And I was like, oh my gosh. So anyways, long story. I mean, whatever. But anyways, I got sent back here because I was lost. And they're like, well, we need to get you back to your own time.
Mhm.
And so they showed me around a bunch, show me a bunch of stuff, show me around. And then they took me to meet these people that they called elders.
All right.
They were like galactic elders. And there was 13 of them. And they said that they wanted to meet me. And I was like, okay, sure. You bet, man. Whatever, while I'm here. Yeah, you bet. And so I went inside this like triangle shaped, really tall, obtuse triangle shaped building, long and skinny. And like this door opened up and I went inside, met with them. I don't remember what it was about. Anyways, when I came back out, the guy who I was guiding me around, John, he said, we have to send you back to your own time now, but for your own security and your own protection and ours, we have to erase everything that just happened when you met those people. And I said, okay, what do you mean? He goes, well, we have to erase that part so you don't remember it. And then when you go back, nobody can get those memories from you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
Apparently,
how long were you in the future for?
I think about a day.
Okay, so did you eat anything?
No,
Nothing?
no.
Did you
Nope,
go to
no
the
food.
bathroom? Did they have a bathroom there for you? Were bathrooms of the future very different than the bathrooms now?
No, nothing like that. No, those things like didn't actually exist, like because our form of bodies weren't the same. Like those were physical functions that just you didn't do. Like you didn't need to do that anymore. Basically, we had evolved.
You're from the past, aren't you? Or you're from the future? I'm confused. So what year were you born that you remember?
Well,
Or
here I was born in '69,
okay,
and so this is basically my past to me that I'm getting to relive again,
all
as
right,
if it was brand new.
okay,
That's pretty cool.
all right.
But yeah, it's a mess, man. It's a mess. I in retrospect, I wish I hadn't have done it, or I wish it hadn't happened because I think it made things worse for me. But
Well,
whatever.
I came across something today. Maybe it looks familiar to you. It might be a glitch in the matrix, or it might be someone just making something up. Check this out.
Ooh, what is that?
Someone had a little. It was a video. There's some kind of interference that I'm hearing. Some kind of video where the sky looked almost like this. Around the edge, this was flashing, like some kind of computer program. I don't know. It's very interesting, though, I thought.
I've only seen that one time, and that was on the sun.
Okay.
But it was a computer bank. It was a bank of computers.
Okay.
So it could be computer banks. That is what you're seeing, like light processors, basically.
Okay.
But so that's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it looks like a ice wall for like Antarctica or something.
but it's just some neighborhood. This is the sky, and there's like a cloud up here, but the sky was so white, it just whited out, and it was flashing. There were different screens of different types of type showing it. I just caught this one and took a screenshot of it. There were others too. It was like going through a bunch of them, like cycling through. Really
That
weird.
was recently.
Yeah, I just saw it today on Facebook.
I wonder if the Aurora Borealis caused some of the cloaking or whatever to break down and made it visible, or made it somehow.
I think it's maybe the function of the camera, possibly. That
It could be.
could be a kind of reflection of something inside the program. I don't know. Who knows? I
Yeah,
just
so
thought
it's,
interesting.
so it's pretty cool being back here because sometimes I experience like deja vu,
Oh,
like on a constant basis.
yeah. You know what they
So
say?
that's pretty neat, man.
You know what they say if you, know what they say if you have deja vu more than once, they call it deja two. There you go.
Deja vu, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty weird. I mean, it's like it's beyond deja vu because like when it happens like 1,000 times to you, you're like, okay, time out. Something's going on here, man. And so, you know, you basically you have to just concede that, hey, yeah, I've been through this before, and I just don't remember it. You know,
Mhm.
they call it resynchronization, is what they call it. Basic is what they call it when you come back and you try and resynchronize with your old time stream,
Mhm.
your past. You know, so whatever.
Well, maybe the future of the Earth looks like this. Tell me if this is what it looks like.
That looks like Mars.
It's Mars. Yeah, it's a big trench, an occupied trench. Apparently, it's occupied. It looks like I might have some waters and vegetation over here, huh?
Well, the thing is with Mars, the you know, like everyone says, you know, Cairo means Egypt, or you know, Cairo means Mars. That's true to a point, and that gives a clue. But like, if you went over to like Morocco on the Eastern Africa, that's really, in my opinion, more directly. I mean, like, if you wanted to go to Mars, you would go over to there. Then there's like this 30-mile hidden place that you can go to that I don't know what it is or how to access it. I can see it. I can tell somebody where it is. Do I know what to do once I got there? No, I just know it's there. And it's like everyone's, you know, the eye of the Sahara. It's probably about 100 miles north of that. But there's a place over there that I found, and it has like Isis, um, and then Osiris, and it's all in like a circular formation. But it has like the shoe of Hermes, and inside the shoe of Hermes is sitting like this little bird horse, and he's driving it. And I thought, okay, well, this is pretty cool. So I figured, you know, maybe it was just you know, the government putting images there for us to find and stuff like that. But I mean, you really had to know what you're looking at to find this thing. So anyway, I found it one day by mistake, accident, whatever. And I started seeing these beings. I didn't recognize them. Like, okay, that does not look like that's from Earth. And I concluded at that point in time, before I knew that Cairo meant Mars, I had previously concluded that those were Martians. That's all they could be. The terrain matched, the way they looked matched. I mean, you could actually even tell what these beings would possibly look like. Like,
What do they look like?
they look like, how do you say it? Like inner tubes stacked.
Oh, okay, like the Michelin Man.
Yeah, kind of like that. I don't know what the purpose of it is. I have no idea. But there's like these space elevators that I think connect from here to there, but you have to enter 2D to get there. And I don't know how to do that. Like I can see it. I can see the technology working. I don't know how to access it. It would be like what they would call the feel of Aru.
Yeah, be careful. I had some friends who were trying that. They became cartoons. So be careful.
It's dangerous. Actually, you're right. Yeah, it is because you get trapped in a different realm.
You don't want to be
Yeah. No. But so, anyways, if you go over like, you know, like towards Morocco, there's more there than has yet to be found that people just they don't even have a clue. I mean, they're all focused on the other side of Africa, when I think the real heart of the matter is actually on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like the other side's a decoy. But anyways, it's linked somehow to like a Stargate type thing to
Oh, look.
Mars.
This looks almost like a square here. Look at this. Some linear projections, possibly.
Well, see, the thing is if you like that image you're showing right there, somewhere on this planet right here, Earth, somewhere on this planet, that same exact formation exists.
Oh, you
The
think?
catch is going to be in a different size. The scale isn't the same. But if you can find one that's automatically linked to the other one on Mars, that's the cool part. So if you're standing in one spot, you're actually standing on a different spot and not even realizing it. It's really cool.
This looks almost metallic here.
Well, I see people sitting there or standing.
Looks like a big
Yeah.
statue
So that's a
here.
person standing there and stuff like that. Right.
Stormtrooper. No, these are very large, so they'd be like stone. These are all like eroded stones. This is like a trench, probably where the planet was splashed. You know, the big slash in the middle of it.
Yes, no, like yes. The recordings in time is what it is. Like in a super slowed down formation, like if you were to speed it up, they would be moving. But because it's so slow, our perspective, it looks like a rock formation. It's like millions of years slowed down. Like you've heard of like rocks vibrating, they're always moving. Just they're moving at such a slow rate. To us, they seem frozen in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like this time difference, like that is like millions of years difference.
Yeah.
I've seen living beings that were frozen in time, and if you just looked at them, they look like a rock. You're like, whoa. But to us, those beings who appear frozen to us, we look like this. They can't even see us because we're going by them so fast. So it's the opposite. So, but there's there's something really funky going on, man. This like time dilation. My opinion is that the aliens somehow have the ability to freeze time like that.
Of course they do.
And that's just the most incredible thing ever. So the reason I called in was one to say hi, happy birthday again.
Thank you. Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. So I wanted to tell you about this little ET experience I had.
Okay.
I think you might like it, man. It's pretty cool. All right. So I'm out camping in Eastern Oregon. I'm about 20 miles from civilization. Okay. No one's around. The nearest even single house is like 5 miles away. One house. I mean, I'm literally out in the middle of nowhere. Okay. And I'd gone there all the time. And I just happened to be there by myself camping. And it was, the sun had started to set. And so I, got my, your emergency lanterns and stuff like that, whatever you're doing to camping. I got my lights going on and stuff like that. All of a sudden everything dies. So I'm like, okay, I figure the battery ran out. So I go and I get my, your battery backup, like the ones that are like little generator backup, battery generator type things. So a 17-hour lead acid battery, it's dead. I'm like, holy crap.
You need one of those shaker flashlights. You need a shaker flashlight. You shake that thing.
Well, I had one, but I'll tell you, you're gonna like this one. This is cool. I actually found one by accident. This is neat. So about this time, all my power get cut off. So my phone died, my emergency flashlights died, my generator power banks died. So I'm like kind of freaking out. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna check my van, make sure it starts. Nope, dead. I'm like, oh shit, here I am. I'm in it now, right? So about this time, my hair is standing up on end, literally. I mean, straight up. So I try to get my phone to turn back on so I can get a picture of it. I'm like, no one's gonna believe this if I don't get a picture. So I would get my phone to turn on for a split second, and I get, okay, I'm gonna take a picture. Boom, it die. I'm like, dang. So I wasn't able to get any picture. Okay, I'm like, no one's ever gonna believe this. So I'm like, okay, all right, I have an emergency wind-up generator. Maybe I can do this for a little bit and get my phone to turn on long enough so I can get a picture.
Yeah.
My head's standing straight up. I got my arms and my head, everything, right? And I finally get my phone to charge up long enough to take a picture. But it was so dark that I couldn't see it in the outside anymore because like an hour or so had passed by. So all I could get was a picture of my watch.
Okay.
And my watch had stopped too. Okay, so my watch had stopped. So I got a picture of my watch. I'm like, okay, well, at least I got that. Okay, I got to crank my phone for like 5 minutes just to get it to turn back on, just for a split second to trick it in to get me one picture. So I tried and tried, and I think I got like 2 pictures of my watch, maybe. That was like it. So anyway, so I got tired of cranking my this little wind-up generator thing. I'm like, man, I'm getting worn out. I don't have any light, Okay, so I reach over and I'm like, oh, hey, I got a fluorescent light. Maybe I can get that thing to work. So I reach over I fumble around in the dark, and I reach over and I grab my fluorescent light, like the kind you plug into a wall or to a 12-volt socket to work on cars.
Yeah.
So I reach over and I find it. I fumble around, I find it, and I was going to pick it up and plug it into my power bank to see maybe if I could get it to go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as I grab the light, it lights up. In my hand, this 12-volt fluorescent light lights up in my hand, and in the other hand, I'm holding the plug.
Okay.
Going, what?
It's going through.
I'm like, what? So I put it down and it shuts off. I'm like, no way.
Wow.
So I pick it back up and it turns back on. I'm like, dude, get out. I got free light. Okay, my hair's still standing up on end. My watch is stopped. I have no power or anything, but I could hold this light in my hand as long as I wanted to, and it would light up. I'm like, this is cool. Right? So I like, okay, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I got static charge in the air, solar storm, or, a rainstorm, none of that was happening, but I'm like trying to figure out what's going on. The phone's not working. I'm like, well, screw it. So I tried to rub it, like, okay, maybe it's friction, static. That didn't make any difference. As long as I was holding it, it lit up. And then when I put it down, it shut off. And I played with it for a little bit and I thought, all right, this is cool, but I can't really do anything. So no radio, no lights, whatever. So I just went to bed. And I wake up in the morning around 7 o'clock in the morning. And I wake up, how do I say it? I become aware of myself having a conversation with this alien lady.
Oh.
And she had these great big, huge black eyes, like almond shaped, huge. Kind of a typical gray looking lady that you'd see, like gray aliens.
Sure. Wow.
And I'm having this conversation with her, and I wake up to the fact that I'm having this conversation with her, and I become aware of it, so I can actually talk back, consciously now. And I was like, "Excuse me, lady, you have huge eyes." I was like, and she does the whole alien blink, 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 blinks her eyes at me. I'm like, whoa. And she kind of turned her head, cut it to the side a little bit, like as if to blush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the hell is she doing? She goes, thanks. In our culture, the bigger the eyes you have, the prettier you are.
Oh.
So I had inadvertently given her a compliment without knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, blink, blink, blink. I'm like, oh my God, this is not happening. So I'm thinking, okay, I got to wake up.
Where are you at this point? Where are you when you're talking to her? Where are you?
I'm in my camper van sleeping.
Oh, you're in your camper van. You're sleeping. So maybe you're dreaming it. No?
I'm dreaming this. Yeah, supposedly I'm dreaming this. So I become aware of myself dreaming of having this conversation with this alien lady. And and it was fun. So I went with it a little bit, like whatever, and she's like, well, we've been here for a long time and we care about you. And we're like watchers. I was like, okay, sure. So I decided, all right, enough of this. I'm going to wake up. So I wake up. Okay. And it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, all right, well, that was trippy. I had a dream about, because the night before was no small thing. I was like, that's pretty wild on its own. Your hair standing up, you lose all power.
Yeah.
That you fall asleep that night, your watch stops, you fall asleep, you wake up to having a dream about some alien lady talking to you in a telepathically through a dream. I'm like, okay, none of this is happening. I'm going to wake up now. So I wake up. I'm like, all right, I'm making coffee. I'm going to go for a bike ride, right? Get on my quad and ride. I'm going to wake up, snap out of this stuff, boom. So I make some coffee, and within 30 minutes, I'm on my ATV riding down the trail that I went down 100 times before. Okay. And I go about a quarter mile, and I round this corner, and I just slammed on the brakes, and I skid. And up to my left on this hillside is like this 100-foot rock formation of this lady's face that I had just got through talking to, embedded in this rock formation, like it was an alien temple sitting there the whole entire time. I had never seen it. And I just happened to come by at the right time in the morning to where the shadows lit up right.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, that's that lady I was just talking to. Oh my God. So I'm freaked out. Okay. Like my phone worked in the morning, my van worked, the camper van thing worked, all my batteries worked, everything worked, the lights were, everything worked perfectly the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so like within a half hour of being awake and me going on a ride, I see this alien formation, this like alien temple to her almost.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh my God, I am so getting the hell out of here. So I scurry back home. I go back, pack up, boom, I go back in town. I'm like, I get on the phone, I call my son, like, dude, get out here now. You need to get out here. So he came out there. I'm like, you have got to see this. So I told him the story. He's like, all right, Dad, hold on. I'll be out there. So like a week goes by and he comes down there and he's like, all right, show me what you got. So I said, I think you got to be there at the right time in the morning in order to see this. So we cruised down there at 7:30 in the morning. And he's like, and before I'd even gotten to the corner and pointed it to him, he's like, there? I'm like, yep. So he saw it immediately. He's like, well, let's go, man. I'm like, what do you mean let's go? Let's climb up there, see what's going on. I'm like, oh, no way. What? You just come on, man. So we crossed the.
Did you get a picture of it?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh, heck yeah, man. Yeah. So we had to cross this river and it was kind of sketchy getting across. So we crossed this river and we scurry up there and we climbed to the top, climbed around to the sides, trying to find like a old doorway or some kind of evidence that it had been like previously used. Like it, what we could tell was like there's terraces in the hillside where it looked like they were cut for steps
Yeah.
that went up around to the side of it.
Okay.
But it was so long ago that it was overgrown.
Sure.
But as we're walking up, you could feel the terraces. You're like, okay, these are steps we're walking on. Ah, gotcha. And so it kind of wrapped up around the back side of it. And so we kind of climbed up on these stairs. They were, you're talking, who knows how many thousands of years it's been overgrown. I have no idea. So anyways, he goes back, we were up there probably an hour, maybe messing around, trying to find stuff, like, okay, maybe you're supposed to find something up here. Like it's a clue, like maybe we're first supposed to find a certain rock or a certain symbol, maybe it was like that,
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, he goes down to the bottom. He's like, well, I'm going to at least get a picture of you. So he hauls butt down, crosses the river, gets way down at the bottom side. And he's like, all right, you stay up there and get a picture of you. And so I got my hand up on her chin because she's huge. Like her face is probably like 10 foot by 10 foot at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got my hand propped up on her chin and he's taking pictures of it and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And as I pulled my hand down, because he kind of waved, okay, I'm done. So I pulled my hand down, a big, huge, like 1 foot piece of rock came out with it.
Okay.
So anyways, I got that rock to this day. I keep it. I kind of figure it's like a little gift. Like I was supposed to have that,
Okay.
So anyway, so I go home. That was fun. Okay. So we go back home and I start looking back through my pictures. I'm like, I wonder if any of those pictures took. So just out of curiosity, and I started, I'm like, oh, 2 of them took, cool. And they're my watch. My watch had stopped that night. Well, when I looked at the dates on that they were taken of, they were taken in 1980.
Okay.
Okay, this is 2015 when this happened, but the pictures were taken in 1980.
Wow.
How's that work?
Well, time is fluid.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So about a month goes by, and I'm sitting in my apartment and I see this like clear shimmering in my living room up here.
Okay.
I'm like, what the hell's that? And I'm thinking I'm seeing stuff. Okay. I'm like, okay, well, what the hell's that? I see this like oval shape, like probably about 5 foot tall oval, about 3 foot wide oval, kind of shimmering clear. It was just like when you see the heat rise on a hot day, you can kind of see it.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
see
yeah,
the distortion.
of
So I
course.
see this distortion in my living room. I'm like, okay, you are seeing shit. No way that is there. So it opens up and this little tiny dude steps out.
Oh
But
well.
he's like clear. Like all I could make out was his silhouette. But he's probably about 4 feet tall, maybe.
Okay.
So this little tiny dude opens up this portal inside my living room. I can see his silhouette. He squats down and does like puts his hands to his stomach and like kind of makes a circular motion
Okay.
and then launches like this energy beam at me and just nails me hard. Pow. Like, holy shit. Some little dude just came through a portal and blasted something at me. I'm like, are you serious?
They're allowed to do
So,
that. They're allowed to do that. It's in their contract. They can do that.
yeah, so I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that's happening. So I'm like, period. Like I'm in total denial. There's no way that just happened. So he squats down some more and does his little circular thing in front of his stomach. Bam! Launches this like golden colored phi ratio looking energy cone beam thing at me. Bam! Nails me again. I'm like, holy shit, that hurts. I mean, like it was hurting me. I'm like, okay, I think this is really happening. So
Okay.
he like charged up again and went to launch it again. I'm like, okay, this is gonna hurt. So I went to block it, and I blocked it.
With what?
Just my own energy. I blocked it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so he launches about 3, 4 more of those, and I blocked them all except for like maybe 1 or 2 that got through. And then he just stopped. Once he figured out I could block him, he stopped, walked backwards through that little portal thing. It closed up behind him, and that was it. Boom, done.
Wow.
I'm like, what the hell was that? Who does that? Why? Why would you do that?
Oh, you were one of the chosen few to try out the new laser tag from Hasbro. Yeah.
I think what it was is he was showing me that they had chi powers or some kind of teleconnect powers or some kind of bio weapons, maybe, and that they could harness it. I don't feel like he was really trying to hurt me.
Right.
I think if he really wanted to hurt me, he could have just nailed me harder. I think it was more of a training on the fly almost. Like,
Right.
hey, here's we are here is who we are. We're interdimensional beings. We can reach out through time and space and touch you.
Mhm.
Is what the message was.
Wow.
But it wasn't. I don't feel like I was fully under attack, but it was more of a learn on the fly, quickly type deal.
Okay.
So that was pretty impressive. That was about a month after that incident happened. You know, that was pretty impressive, man. I mean, like
Yeah.
that's pretty real. But prior to that, probably 3 years prior to that,
Yeah.
when I was in Portland, about 3 years prior to that, I was sitting there by myself, and I have a plasma TV, okay, a 55-inch plasma TV,
Sure.
and you always watch TV in the dark, okay. So I'm sitting there by myself in my living room, watching TV. It was like Discovery Channel or some stupid shit, and this like 6, 7 foot tall being steps through my wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so scared, I pretty much jumped out of my body and landed on the other end of the couch. Like it scared me that bad. I was almost, how do you say it? Petrified, where you can't even move.
Yeah. Paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis. Yeah, I mean, I was literally frozen in fear. It scared me that bad that first time. And then I was like, oh my God, you've been standing there that whole time. I didn't see you. And you just basically stepped out from my wall and scared the living shit out of me.
Yeah. They do
And
that.
so I was, and then it stepped back into the wall, like walked backwards and just melted back into the wall. I was like, okay, whatever, man, you're seeing stuff. Okay. That did not just happen. So a couple nights later, same thing. I'm sitting there watching TV again in the dark with my plasma TV on. And I see it walk through the different part of the wall by my front door. I'm like, holy shit, that thing's back. And of course I got instantly scared, but this time I could like, wasn't so paralyzed in fear.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there and I can see it. It walks through my wall. It walks over and stands next to me, over me. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. No way.
What did he look like?
It was cloaked. Okay, so it was invisible, but you could see the silhouette of it.
Like a shadow being?
No, shadow beings are darker black. This was clear.
Oh,
This was clear. Just
okay.
like the little dude I described to you earlier. It was a clear thing. It was clear but shimmering,
Like jellyfish.
like the space itself was the distortion.
Okay.
Okay, so this thing walks through the wall really slowly, stands over to the next to me, and is watching me what I'm doing. I'm just sitting there watching TV. I'm like, okay, do I look at this? Do I not look at this? So I was really scared at this time, like petrified, but I'm like, okay, so I got really mad. I stood up. I'm like, look, you don't scare me. I can see you. Get the hell out of here. And it backed up a few feet. I'm like, no, I said, get the hell out of here. I'm like, and so I walked forward to it where I just moved, and it sidestepped me slowly about 2-3 feet. And I turned. I'm like, no, I can still see you, and you're pissing me off because you're scaring me. And so everywhere it moved, I followed it, and it just moved really slow. And eventually it just walked out right out my front wall. I'm like, yeah, get the hell out of here. And I was just petrified. Okay. So about a week goes by and it comes back again.
Wow.
I'm like, and so again, I'm like, look, I can see you. You are in my house and you're freaking pissing me off, man. I will attack you. You better get the hell out of here. And it just stood behind me, watching me, what I was doing, what I was studying, it was literally just observing me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, whatever. Just, you're not a threat. You're not moving really fast. You're not like shaking your hands around trying to attack me. You're just watching. Okay, so whatever. Okay, cool. Do whatever you want to do, man. I'm just going to ignore you. So it leaves. And it's probably like about a week or so later, I was dating this girl, and she comes over to visit, and she's sitting on the couch with me, and we're watching TV, and it walks through the wall again, and she hits me, and she's like, "What the hell's that?"
Mm.
I'm like, "What's what?" I'm playing dumb.
Wait
She
a
goes,
minute.
"What is that?"
It's starting to sound like Dave's apartment. Dave's apartment. Remember that? No?
No.
Look that up.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. So she sees it before I do. I see it, but I'm not letting on that I see it. So she sees it first, hits me, and is freaking out and says, "What the hell's that?" I'm like, "What's what?" Because I want to make sure she was seeing,
Mhm.
She's like, "That right there. It just walked through the wall." And then I had like a ottoman, a little footstool,
Mhm.
and it walked through the footstool, and I watched it, and she hits me again. She's like, "Did you see that?" It just walked through the furniture. And it walks in front of the TV, and that's when I really saw it right there. When it walked in front of the TV, man,
Yeah.
that's when it changed. I could smell the plasma burning, like it was part of its cloaking
Sure.
technology.
Uh-huh.
It was using plasma to cloak itself, and somehow the fact that I had a plasma TV made it visible.
Sure. Interesting.
So for just about 2 seconds. So for about 2 seconds, I got to see the full shape and size of this thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, and it walked out, walks around, walks in front of the TV, walks around and stands behind us at the couch. And she's just like horrified in terror. She's like, "What's it doing? What's it doing? Is it going to hurt us?" I'm like, "Just don't move. Don't move. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt me. It's just watching for some reason. It's not, I don't know what it's doing. I don't know who it is, what it is. Don't freak." And she's like, I can't. I'm freaking out. I'm like, "Just hold still. Don't do anything." So I turned up, I looked up behind me. I'm like, and I told it verbally, I said, "Look, you're scaring her. Can you please leave?" And it stepped back, walked around where it came from really slowly, and walked right back out the door, or right through the wall.
Wow.
Non-threatening.
Hmm.
Only thing it did was there was watching.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, so that was a couple years before I had that incident out in the woods, and I can't help but think they're related.
Mhm.
And the reason I say that is because when the little dude opened up that portal, he looked exactly the same way, but shorter. Like one was like 6+ feet tall, and the other one was like 4 foot tall. So I guess you would say little gray and tall gray, whatever, like
Mhm.
that. So
Okay.
I did some research afterwards, and I think the little grays are like scouts,
Mhm.
and I think the larger grays are what they call pilots. They pilot the motherships.
Okay. Yeah.
So I can from the research I did, the only thing I can conclude is that I was being visited by one of their pilots.
Okay. Interesting. Well, maybe we're looking at one right now. Celestial Soul sent this picture in, and that's the
Mhm.
picture that you're seeing right now. It's from Celestial Soul, from her neighbor, I guess. And it looks like one of those cloud formations that looks like a disc, but I guess it could be a cloaked. We're getting some kind of weird feedback. I'm not sure how that's happening.
It's
But
my
yeah,
aura.
interesting picture. Interesting picture.
No, that's a really neat picture.
Yeah.
If you want to, I can try and I don't know if I have it on this phone. I got a new phone, but I can try and locate. I sent it to you once before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. Yes, sent it to you once before. It'd be in our chat, messenger chat.
Messenger
But
chat on Facebook?
yeah,
On
yeah, I'd have to go back a little ways, but I sent it to you once before though.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I
What-
don't expect you to find it now, but
What's your name on Facebook? Is it Back from the Future on Facebook too?
no, I'm not telling you that, man.
Well, I can't find it now. I might go look it up.
I'll message you and tell you that.
All right, all right. So cloaked
I'm nobody to anybody here, okay?
our cloaked
I wanna
unseen
keep it
guest
that way.
there. Our cloaked unseen guest. There you go.
So I moved after 2015. I moved up to Washington, and about a year later, no, about a year and a half later, I had another little event, and this time my how do I say it? My phone, when I would go to take pictures, had vertical lines through it, and I thought first it was a camera that I was using, not a phone, but a camera I was using had these vertical lines through it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's something wrong with the camera. So I went and got so I'm taking pictures. I'm like, well, there's vertical lines through everything. What the hell's that? So I figured, okay, the camera just died on me. It's whatever. I dropped it or got too hot or batteries, who knows? I was trying to get pictures of something. So I went back inside and grabbed my phone and I'm taking pictures with it. And it's got vertical lines in it. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, what the heck? So I go, whatever. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not supposed to take that picture. Okay, fine. So I go inside my bedroom, watch TV, and the TV has vertical lines on it. I'm like, this is weird. And I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but it was prevalent on my camera, on my phone, on the TV. I could see it visually, which is why I was trying to get the picture in the first place. But there was these vertical lines everywhere I looked, and it was visible on my camera, on my phone, and on the TV, and visually.
Okay. Well,
So that was a following event to all that. Like, I don't know if we're in some kind of a matrix or if there was a time distortion going on or whatever. But yeah, really, really
we are in the
interesting.
Matrix. We are actually in the Matrix, apparently. But that's what Andrew Bashagov discovered when he went out of his body. He was spun out of his body. And we're getting some kind of really weird, really horrible feedback. I don't know where that's coming from. I'm not sure. But,
We could have listeners.
yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Huh.
Uh,
So, anyways, yeah, I wanted to just share the ET thing with you because
thanks.
I've had a couple encounters, like more than one,
Uh-huh.
and the few times that I think that I've actually done like astral travel, whatever,
Yeah.
I've always found myself racing them
Okay.
like across super vast distances in space. They're just like speed freaks.
Okay.
They just, yeah, like there's once they get out in the wide open, they just hit it, man, hard, and they just go as fast as they can possibly can, breaking light speed. Like they're just little speed freaks. Like if you could see them inside laughing and giggling the whole time, they're just like breaking the speed of light. That's what they're doing.
Kind of like the Great Salt Flats of the sky, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it is literally a drag race, straight up. It is a drag race, and these alien races like drag race each other.
Hey,
And
alien races. Hey, alien races. Hey. There
that's
you
what
go.
they do, man. They
They
drag.
race.
Yes, they drag race each other, straight up. They do.
Wait,
Seriously.
does that make them racist then? If they're racing? I don't know. I'm sure
Well,
someone would think so. I'm sure some people could figure out a way to make that work in their strange logic.
so they have color codes to them apparently, like the colors that power their engines.
Okay.
They'll have like a yellow orb, and that will be like a V8 to us. No, I'm serious. They have the engine types they have are color coded, and that tells them how fast they can go. So like a red orb is really fast. A blue orb is even faster. Like
See,
probably
now,
one of the fastest.
so where did you get this knowledge? Because I've never heard this before. So you're just coming out and saying it. So how is it that you and is this something all aliens do, or just one type of alien? I mean, I'm sure they don't all use the same kind of propulsion, do they? I mean, probably not.
In the few dreams I've had, we were racing each other, and when it was all said and done, they're like, "Hey, what do you got under the hood?" And I opened up my hood, quote unquote, and I had a blue orb. That was my power, I guess.
Like the blue spheres. You followed the Corey Good story?
The Spear Alliance thing, I don't know if I really buy into that. I've heard it a couple times. I'm kind of a hard sell.
Yeah. Well, he keeps things he predicted keep coming true. So it's pretty incredible, actually.
See, for me, I see stuff firsthand, and then I'm like, okay, I got to go and research it, and then I start listening. Okay, and then I try and find, okay, is this person talking about something that I saw? Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But it's never the other way around. I don't listen to somebody and go, oh yeah, that sounds feasible, and then I go and see it. It's always the opposite. Something happened, then I'll go and research it. Like, okay, what was that?
Yeah.
You know. But yeah. So, anyways, apparently to them, I have blue DNA, and so my orb is blue.
All right.
So apparently I'm really fast to them.
That's a good color. I think it's a universal color of good. So maybe you're a good guy. You know.
Well, what I learned from them, whatever, was that we all have color coded DNA also.
Okay.
Like some people have red DNA, which I've never heard of anything like this ever. It's just what I was told through these telepathic dreams or whatever. We all have like color coded DNA. Some people have green DNA, some people have yellow DNA, some people have gold DNA, some people have silver DNA, platinum, blue, green. So all these different colors of DNA, they don't show up in our spectral analysis, whatever. It's not how it works. There's some other different interface that it picks up on. I don't know what it is, but like if you have red DNA, that means you're from the past. Basically, if you have blue DNA, you're from the future.
All right.
So like you have two opposite spectrums of DNA, and that kind of tells you what timeline you're from or what part of time you're in. But like the red is just as fast as the blue. They just come from different.
No, I've been told by people who can see auras and say I have a purple aura, whatever that means. I don't know what that is.
That's royalty, of course.
Really?
Yeah, that's your crown chakra. It's your royalty. Yeah, purple is.
Maybe it's just because I was listening to Prince. Maybe that's why.
When I did my aura test, it showed I was a blue-green aura. which I thought was not too bad. They weren't too far off. I think it's more of a blue, straight blue.
But what about now? Willie Fixit brings up the negative blood issue. Are you negative blood? Do you have
No,
negative?
no.
I do.
No.
I do. I have negative blood.
Are you RH negative?
Yeah, AB negative.
Oh, AB negative.
Yeah, it's the rarest.
Oh, cool, man.
That's why
Nice.
that's why my last name is Moriarity. More rarity than the rest, right?
Excellent. No, I think I'm O positive.
Yeah.
I'm just a universal donor.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, one thing you got to realize though is that like these are just cars we're driving.
Yeah. I never give blood. I never give any blood because I'm always using all of my blood at any given time. I never have any spare blood. I'm always using it all. So I never have occasion to give blood. So
Yeah, so like when you get in time travel stuff though, you can come back and be reincarnated into quote unquote Aaron's body with all his memories, everything he's going to do, but it's not really you. You just stepped into this person's life. You're like, oh, okay, I think I want to be that guy. Okay, so you go back and you're that guy.
well, I've been out of my body. It is a freaky thing leaving your body for sure. It's a very freaky thing. Now, when Andrew was spun out of his body. Andrew was spun out of his body.
Yeah,
and
I think
then he was instructed to go as far as he could, and he did. He went as far as he could, and he came up against a screen, and he said it was like a bumblebee at a screen. He couldn't go any further. So
weird.
When he came back, he was being debriefed by this woman, and she said, okay, describe what you saw. He goes, well, I went as far as I could go, like you said, and I came up against this screen, and I couldn't go any further, and I saw this giant machine, and it looked like it was making our reality holographically. And she said, oh yeah, some others have reported this too. We're calling it the Matrix. This was in 1971. So
Wow.
yeah, we are living in a matrix. They literally knew that since the 70s.
Well, I mean, you got to think, okay, yeah. So you have a mother that's raising her kids her own way and preparing us for the space age that we're entering. And so, you know, it's a sci-fi theme, you know, so everything we need to know for this next life, this next chapter, we're getting taught here right now, her way. You know, like, okay, you're going to be this in the future, so I'm going to come down here and whoop your ass and train you personally one-on-one how to defend yourself like this, because you're going to need to learn how to do that on your next life. So like this mother being, whatever she is, whether it's Gaia, I don't think that's her name. I think it's like a combination of like alien nature, stuff like that, all mixed into one. But whatever, this mother knows your next life. And so everything you're doing here, you're being trained for, prepared for the next chapter. Like when you die here, you get born into that next life. And everything you did now is in preparation for what you are to become next.
I love it when everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. And, you know, I just really don't think we all have it figured out, really. I mean, we're making guesses, okay? A lot of people, like you said just now, oh, we're here to do this, and when we do this, we'll achieve that. Well, that's really just based on belief. It's not really, there's no real, I don't know. It's.
No, I agree. Yeah, I can.
I don't know.
Everyone's got the answer, but no one actually knows what the question is, almost.
Right. It's yeah, a lot of things are being repeated by a lot of people. And I don't know. I think that the truth is going to be very simple and very surprising. I don't know. I think it's going to fit together like a puzzle magically one day. And there's going to be no more wondering about things. You'll just know. Because when I was out of my body, I knew everything. Okay, I'm hearing that sound whenever I talk. So I think what's happening is my voice is coming across onto your phone or your computer, and it's causing a little bit of feedback. So maybe turn the volume down a little bit on your phone.
Oh yeah, I can do that. You bet.
Maybe that will help this.
Is that a little better?
Let me see. Yeah, it's a little bit better. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So for me, being back here, apparently I'm being retested, whatever that means,
Okay.
which is pretty irritating. Because it's like, if you passed once, why haul me all the way back here so I can get retested? That's like,
Well, I think being here is funner than being out of here, to be honest with you. Because when you're out of your body, you know everything. You can't discover anything. You've already done everything. It's pretty
good.
boring. Pretty boring to know everything. It's much funner to not know everything and discover stuff and to have adventures and feel things, because you can't feel anything when you're out of your body. There's no feelings. So I think that
Yeah.
everyone's yearning for something that they're not going to want if they get it. It's just like, it's just like, oh, you're anticipating something like it's the prom or something. It never lives up to your expectations, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like I'm blessed and cursed at the same time.
Well, I
It's
think
frustrating.
as long as we're here, we know we are here. So we should, make the best of being here, and leave really good memories. So we're remembered by lots of people and stuff like that.
I personally feel like I'm being prepared for space travel,
Yeah.
long-term space travel, like the trip check. Like when you go into stasis for a million years, and the only form of entertainment you have is reliving the multiple lives that you lived, like that, like you get interfaced with a collective interface, and you have your friends who are also on board the ship in their pods and stasis, and you have to travel from one galaxy to the next galaxy, but to get there it takes you a million years.
Well, not according to Corey Good. Corey Good claims that they use what he calls the cosmic web, and the cosmic web first of all, it's an electroplasma universe. It's a plasma electric universe, and all stars, suns, planets, and moons are all connected by a thin electromagnetic filament. And as things in space move, this electromagnetic filament it keeps shifting and moving, goes to the least resistance place as the stars and everything are moving and planets. So you have to use hyper mathematics. So if you want to go from where you are right now near Earth to like another part of the galaxy, like the other side of the galaxy, some star system, you can calculate that with this hyper mathematics we got from some extraterrestrials. And you enter that stream. Now what happens is you have to get speeds up past the speed of light, and you become plasma. Your ship and you become plasma. You enter the stream at the precise mathematical moment, and then you pop out in that other part of the galaxy that you were going for, and you're reconstituted. It sounds really bizarre, but apparently that's what they're doing, according to Corey, if you're going to believe that, and which I happen to believe.
Well, I'm not going to say it sounds like wishful thinking, because I've never heard of that. I'm not going to say it's totally false, because I myself was shown what was going on on a higher level. And basically what they did is they beamed people, like we would be transformed into light, and we would get beamed from star system to star system.
That's basically what it is. Yeah, plasma is like a light form, plasma light form.
Each star was like our sun is actually an airport.
Yeah.
And so it was like so active with people coming and going that it would be like going to LAX.
Yeah.
But on that scale. and they were beaming for themselves from star system to star system in their light bodies, and they, like you said, get reconstituted, and you get beamed to Earth, and you get faxed to Earth, and your body's grown in a cloned body that's your representation of you, and so that's your quote unquote date of birth. You know, like they knew you were coming, they prepared for you coming, they had your body already halfway made, they received the fax, it was built before you even got here, and so when, all you had to do was beam yourself into your own body, and poof, you're made. Like, it was freaking incredible, man. But yeah, there was I was told that, shown that.
Okay.
Like, this is how we travel.
Okay. Interesting.
I was like, oh, okay.
Willie Fixit's in the chat here and says, I got hit by lightning indirectly. Heart razzed for days. Okay. Interesting. Yeah,
Well, do I need to let you go so you can talk to other people?
No, I'm just reading the chat. I'm reading the chat.
I'm just visiting, man. Just saying hi.
All right. Yeah. Well,
you got, is that Captain Kirk up to your left shoulder?
Yeah. You know, remember when he went up into space? Remember when he went up into space on that Bezos rocket? Remember that?
Yeah. He made the crash landing.
Yeah. Well, ever since then, he loves going into space now. It's cooler than he thought it was. So every time I'm in my spaceship here, every time I'm taking off, he jumps on it. He jumps on.
Oh, yeah.
And there he is, right over there.
Perfect.
It's like William Shatner. What are you doing? He can't. He wants to get back into space. So that's how bad he wants it. So
no, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, fun stuff, man. Yeah, fun stuff. Oh man, I've seen a lot. Yeah. But yeah, and when Andy got spun out of his body, that was one of the things that really caught my attention, because it's like I accidentally did that to myself the first time I actually ever, like, quote unquote time traveled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was the effect it had on me.
Okay.
So if what he's saying is what they did it to him intentionally, then yeah, I can see that would be the effect it would have.
Well, it didn't really send him back and forth in time. He just went out of body. It was a fast way they could get people to get out of body experiences. They strapped him down on a giant turntable like you see on Batman, the original Batman, and they spun him at 33.5 RPMs, and you spin right out of your body, and you go out of your body.
I see. Mine was vertical. Mine wasn't horizontal flat. Mine was vertical. Like if you drew us a 20-foot circle around you on the ground flat, and then inside that drew a triangle inside the circle, same size, 20 feet, spun the triangle around one direction, and then spun the circle around the other direction, it makes the triangle go vertical in a column.
Okay.
And that shot me straight up at basically light speed, and I was able to penetrate through several different galactic layers. Like, so as something I just kind of did accidentally. It seemed like, I don't know, maybe I just intuited it somehow. I just did it.
Okay.
I could draw it for somebody, but you know what it reminded me of the most? Remember on Stargate when the Egyptians, the gods would like beam down, and it was like stacked like rings.
I only saw the first movie. I didn't see the series or anything like that. But I think I know.
So that came out in like 1994.
Yeah, I only saw the first movie. I never saw anything else.
Okay, so they basically beamed themselves from the ship down to the ground inside the pyramid, and they were reconstituted in rings by layers.
Right.
In this column. So that movie was made in 1994. What happened to me was like in 1985.
Okay.
So it's like I can't say I saw that movie and then as a result I had this weird dream, and during this dream I relived that portion, because I had never seen that before in my life. It wasn't for like another 10 years that scene would come out.
Yeah, you did. You're a time traveler, remember?
Well, yeah, it would have been that deja vu for me seeing it, which it was. Yeah, I was like, well, no, I mean, but what I do is like accidental, man.
You've seen my time. You've seen my time machine, haven't you? Have you seen it?
At last, a real time device, time machine. Perfect, man. Love it.
Have you seen it?
No, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah.
So we call time travel phasing. Just so you know.
I'll tell you what. Do you want to travel in time right now with my time machine?
What you got? How much it cost, man?
It's free. It's free, and everyone in our general vicinity will travel right along with us. So,
Where you want to go?
It's this time travel device is complex yet simple, futuristic yet old-fashioned. The way you travel to the future with this amazing time device is as simple as time itself. The time crystals are the key element in this time travel device. Instructions. Here we go. Instructions. Turn the time device upside down. When all the time crystals pass from the top time chamber into the bottom time chamber, you've now traveled exactly 1 minute into the future. Process takes approximately 60 seconds. So after that process, you've now traveled approximately 1 minute in the future. Process takes approximately 60 seconds. So there you go. You can travel. We're going into the future right now. Isn't it exciting? We're traveling right into the future together. Look at this.
That's Earth time, though. You have to factor in time dilation.
Look at this. Yeah, but we're all going to be a minute into the future. And if I turn it over again, we can go another minute. Approximately 60 seconds.
Well, how do you know you're not rewinding it?
It takes approximately 60 seconds. There you go. I spend all day doing this, traveling through into the future, you know. Here we are. We're almost into the future here. Here we go. It's still in the future. It's coming. It's present. Oh, now it's in the past. We're here. We're a minute into the future. Took
Not bad.
60 seconds to get here. It all takes time. That's the
It
time
all-
machine.
That is
yeah.
legit. That's analog.
Now
Well, no,
you-
actually, that would be digital still.
You cannot go backwards in time, only forward. So beware. Don't go too far in the future.
No.
Don't go too
that's
far
not,
in the future because you're not going to be able to go back.
that's not true. I
That's my
got back
dad.
here.
That's
I
my
got
dad.
I got back here with assistance, but I still got there on my own initially.
Well, good. We're glad you made it back.
I'm not. I was having fun. Man.
You probably came back so you could call into the show. Say,
Oh,
hey,
maybe.
he needs a caller to call in. Why don't you go on there? Incarnate. That's what it's here for.
No,
All
it's
right.
all good. I just got a glimpse. That's cool. I'm happy.
Yeah.
If I wasn't here, then someone would have to take my place here. So I'm doing myself justice by me coming back and being in the trenches and being here now. So
Yeah. Well, we're
I
glad
gotta
you're,
be here, you know?
we're glad you're here and appreciate you calling in. Thanks for calling in. And we'll talk to you next time. How's that sound?
All right, buddy. Sounds good, man.
Take care.
All right.
All right. There we go. Back from the future. Yes. What do you think about that? Traveling a minute into the future. Well, we all travel together into the future. We are all time travelers, folks. I wanted to show you this, and this is in relation to what I covered in the last show, and also the little short video, the minute and a half video I put out about Jesse and Elvis. Here is one of the pages of the handwritten letter that was allegedly written by Elvis Presley, who now goes by the name of Jesse Presley. So it's kind of hard to read. Let me see if I can get through this. Okay, introduction. After hearing so many stories about the death of Elvis Presley, I had decided to tell the world the real story on the facts concerning that day in August 1977. Yes, that day, the 16th of August. Is it a coincidence that a psalm 4 on that day, January 8th, first month, 8th day would perish on the 8th month. And the 16th day, probably if 2 people were born on that day, it would make more sense. You see, numerology always played an important part of my life and still does today. So many people have written or spoke to me about my death as a hoax. It was not a hoax. I decided to reinvent myself in the form of my brother, Jesse Guerin. And yes, Elvis Presley did die that day. So what he's saying here, folks, is if this is indeed true, he was sick of being Elvis and he wanted to stop being Elvis and live the rest of his life as his twin brother who died at birth. Now, what's really interesting here is I just realized this. Prince did the same thing. Prince did the same thing. Remember when Prince changed his name to the symbol? Okay, his last album that he did for Warner Brothers, he appears laying down in the back of the album like he's dead. And that was the official killing of the name Prince. So he became the symbol so he could get out of his contract with Warner Brothers. He had to sort of kill himself. So, but not really kill himself, just in name. That's the same thing that Elvis did, if this is Elvis. So I think that's very, very interesting. So Willie Fixit says, yeah, I was struck by lightning and your heart was racing for a little while. That's terrible. 30 years back, wow. That's, yeah. I got 220-volt shock and it was horrifying. So I know what you're talking about. What about the Bob Joyce theory? Sure sounds like him. Yes, it does sound like him, but it's not him. His face is not right. I've seen the comparisons and it's just wishful thinking. It doesn't line up not like Jesse, not even close. And he's the wrong height. He's the wrong height. He's too short to be Elvis. So he's a very good singer. He's a great minister. I think that he is a great guy. I think he's a very sincere person. And he just has a voice that's very similar to Elvis. Now, there's a guy, Wings of Pegasus. This British guitar player and singer and performer, he does vocal analysis. And someone got him to do an analysis of Bob Joyce and Elvis, and they're not the same person. They have different vocal characteristics. They're not the same. It's been proven by his height and by the comparison of the voice. It's not him. Okay. I'm sure if it was him, he would admit it. He would admit it. It's not him. It's actually Jesse. Possibly. That's what I'm leaning towards. 50% chance of being true. That's what I say. Let's see. Is this the next one? I hope this is the next one. After the introduction. Oh. There it is. Okay. And more about my life since 1977. And you can document it and have a book, and I will give you permission to publish my photographs. I think this is the end. This is the last page. I'm sorry. I thought I had these in a certain order, and they're not. Okay, so maybe it's this one. Boy, I'm sorry, folks. They're a little mixed up. Well, we'll just see what this one has to say. All right. Okay. All right. Oh, there it is over here. Oops, that's not it. There it is. Okay. I no longer give away Cadillacs or expensive pieces of jewelry because I am nothing more than a man who had a very famous brother. I am not a great literate. I never wrote my own songs, but I am not illiterate either. Okay, I don't know if I'm getting these words right. The perfect day, August 16th, 1977, equals 24. My age backwards, 42. The facts on this go on and on. But my true reasons for the book are for my fans. My death was not a hoax. So my fame, oh, to my fame, please forgive me. I'm not sure exactly what that says. My brother delivered to line? I don't know. I can't really read a lot of this. He was with me constantly, spiritually. My life would not be the same had he lived at birth. This was my way of giving him life. And corny as it sounds, the colonel took this secret to his grave. He was a loyal friend. So there he's saying, you know, his brother, Jesse Guerin, died at birth. He never got to live a day. And so Elvis was always haunted by this. Why was he allowed to live and his brother wasn't? So he wanted to live the rest of his life as his brother. I mean, I think that's a very honorable thing to do. I think it's very honorable. Oh, so, okay. I think that's interesting. So that's a few of the pages. It's an 8-page letter. Yeah, and you can find it on Linda Sigmund. What is her Mark messaged me? Oh, there he is. Okay. All right. All right. I see that. Okay. To my fans, please forgive me. Okay, that's what it says. All right. Thank you, Mad Poe. Yeah, it's a little hard to read sometimes, but I think you get the message. And you know, if you watch the first documentary about Elvis after he passed away, which was shortly after he passed away, Dick Clark put together a fabulous movie. And I've mentioned it before on program here, but Kurt Russell plays Elvis. And there's some moments in the movie where he's looking in the water, his reflection in a pond of himself, talking to his twin brother, talking to himself. So I don't think we can understand the emotional trauma he was in his whole life, just living when his brother didn't get to live. It really haunted him, folks. And so I can really understand why he would do something like this. Yeah. Yes. Very interesting. So check out my little video. It's only 1.5 minutes long that I put out earlier today. It shows a quick little video of that comparison of the photo of Jesse and Elvis. So there you go. And there you have it. All right. I also wanted to show you this. I'm still working on my little graphic novel. I'm working on time traveling superhero. And this is me as the time traveling superhero Timex. So there I am. Another drawing I'm working on for that graphic novel is starting to take a little shape. And I'm also working on this, friends, and I'm working on the CIP page for it and finishing up some of the details on the pages for the Awesome Possum. So soon I'll have this. Hopefully I can get a little website up so we can get those things into the hands of people who want them. I know I want to order a couple for my granddaughters. So the Awesome Possum, it's a great little story. It teaches kids that it's not the cool things that you do that makes people like you. It's how nice you are. And that's why people like you. It's not because you can do all these tricks and stunts. So he's the Awesome Possum because he's so nice to everybody. That's what makes him so cool and so awesome. Okay? So that's why I got to finish this book. It's a great little book. And I hope that lots of people will enjoy it when it gets done, and you'll be able to order it through the intranet or a hard copy. That's what I'm shooting for on the Awesome Possum. And Awesome Possum goes to school after that. So we got lots of things coming up. Now, I showed you that picture of Timex. Well, this is the bad guy in the story. That's Eric Thorne or Colonel Carnage. So there's the good guy and the bad guy. And so you can get a kind of idea of how it's going to pan out here with these two battling it out through all the millennia. A battle that rages through all time. A conflict that never ends. So there you go. Okay, check. You sent a picture of the monument. Yes, okay. Let me go back there. All right. Okay. This is that rock formation that he saw that he said looks like the girl he was talking to, the alien woman. So we'll show you that right. Oops. Not yet, because I got to open it. So I got to close this and open this. All these little things, friends. It's always something, you know? Now I got to find it. It doesn't go where you think it's going to go. What? I'm not seeing it. Oh, that's why. Okay. Alrighty then. Hold on, friends. We're working on it here. Yeah, I'm getting ready to get some more equipment, and I think I'm going to need more equipment than I thought I was going to need. So, if you want to help out, I got a PayPal account and a Cash App. If you want to help out, I did get some money, and I'm going to be using that very soon. Well, I can't find that picture. I just put it on my desktop and it's not showing up. Well, while I'm looking for that, check out this meme. I'm sure you're going to love it. I shared it already. There it is. Going to tell my kids this was the Oscars. Yes, because that's what it really is. It's despicable. It's a despicable display of Satanism. There it is. Yeah. That's right. Now, why can't I find that picture? Do I have to do I have to do it again? Put it over here again? Is it gonna? Oh, you know, I might have to take a screenshot of it. Boy, they're really making me work hard to get this. Not easy. It's not easy being me, friends. Okay. Now, will that show up? Only one way to find out. There it is. Now it shows up. Kind of wonky. Okay, we got it now. All right. Here it is. So this is what he said looked like the alien. Like, I'm sure, like, here's one of the eyes here and one of the eyes here. And like he was saying, the shadows. And it looks like there's some kind of chalk here, like, or if that's a natural formation. I don't, the colors. Maybe, yeah, maybe the color of the rock is like that. So these colors. Here's the mouth, maybe. I can see where that could sort of look like that. Look at this boulder here. And it looks like it's stacked on another one. Maybe this whole thing is manufactured, huh? I don't know. Like some kind of artificial. Yeah, that looks like a seam there, doesn't it? You gotta get Perveen Mohan on this and see what he says. Praveen Mohan. He's a pretty cool guy. So there's that. From Back from the Future. Back from the Future sent us this. So there it is. Do you think it looks like an alien face, folks? Is that what you think it looks like? Natural coloring. I'm standing down below to the right. Okay. Oh, that's you right there. Oh, okay. I got you. So right here he is. Yes, you showed me this before. I remember this before. Yeah. There he is right here, I think. I think this is him right here. I'm doxing him. That's what he looks like. Now all the facial recognition people are going to be able to find you. Uh-oh. Better stop share so they don't have any more time to look at it. Save your skin there. So that's that. That is that. Yeah. All righty then. All right, friends. Well, you know what? We survived a frozen screen because this episode is in two parts, the first part and the second part. So if you missed the first part, go back and watch the first part. You can see we got frozen. I want to thank everyone for coming back over onto the new stream here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Dark Brains here. Hello, my buddy. Frantically working on finishing a 13-minute long project this week. Finally finished it. Yeah. Yeah. Well, do you want to call in and talk about it quick? You certainly may. It sounds interesting. A 13-minute show from Dark Brain. So go check his channel out. Maybe he's got it up. I don't know. Dark Brain. Yeah, congratulations, buddy. I better put that in there. Yeah, I know how much time it takes to edit so long. You know, it's just crazy. So yeah, 13 minutes. It's a long show to edit for sure. But I bet it's pretty cool. Sounds neat. Yeah. Yeah, it looks almost like Back to from the Future. It looks like those eyes are maybe some kind of places where, yogis can sit and meditate or something. Maybe there's some kind of meditation chamber in there or something. Who knows, right? Or behind where the third eye would be. Maybe there's a secret chamber inside. Oh, 13-month project. Oh my goodness. 13 months. Oh, wow. That's a long time. Wow. Well, then a bigger congratulations then. Wow. Wow. That's a long time. I'm impressed. My dad took me to Chariots of the Gods movie back in the 70s. I'm questioning ever since. Yeah, isn't that right? That Daniken. That was a really big red pill. A lot of people were like, whoa, after that movie came out. Everyone was reeling. And it was really starting to change society. Then all of a sudden they came out, oh, that's fake. And there was a massive disinformation program put in place to dampen down our consciousness again. It's just pathetic. But yeah, that really did shake people up, that movie, that Daniken movie. What happened was the way they discredited it's so despicable what they did. Some of these artifacts that Daniken went to go look at, some of them he couldn't photograph them, so he had to draw pictures of what they looked like. So he did some hand drawings of the images that he found, and they took that and said, "Oh, he drew this. He's faking everything." And no, he wasn't faking everything. He just had to draw those because he couldn't get a photograph of it for one reason or the other. But anything they could do to say if for one little part of it's fake, they can just throw the rest of it out. And it was not in the movie theaters anymore, and people were not talking about it anymore because people were being called crazy. So yeah, will he fix it? I remember that very clearly. That could have been a big consciousness jump for people, and it was. But only the true thinkers, free thinkers, were kind of jostled free from the matrix by that. And I think I was one of them because I never stopped believing. I just saw that as a disinfo campaign. It was clearly obvious to me, being an artist too, that this is a lame way to attack it. So always beware of that. My dad took me, it was like, wow, dad was military. Okay. Maybe he knew more than he let on, huh? Eric von Daniken was attacked for gold of the gods. He was basically telling the truth there, but it got distorted by the MSM. Yeah, that's what they do. The MSM, they get paid to distort and keep secrets for these creepy people. Creepy people like the ones that Madison Cawthorn was calling out in the halls of Congress. Did you hear about this? He said he was invited to like some kind of sex orgy with these elder senators and representatives, and then someone that he used to look up to apparently did something that they call a key bump. I don't know what that is. It's some kind of thing with some kind of white powdery drug, I'm not going to say the name of it. It sounds like Pepsi, but the other brand. And they're doing this. And what does who is the minority leader? Kevin McCarthy? He said, "Oh, I gave him a talking to, told me better straighten his life around." Straighten his life around? He's pointing out the hypocrisy of people trying to go after these anti-drug bills and doing key bumps, whatever those are, on the floor of Congress. We should all be outraged. We should all be calling our representatives, our senators, our representatives, look, we want to know who is doing this, and we want accountability. We want drug testing in the Capitol, okay? Or they don't get paid. If they're doing these creepy things, they're out. They're out. They're doing these things to get compromised, and who's blackmailing them? Get them out. We need to get them out. Get them out. Oh, in the waiting room. Okay, there he is. I was on a rage, on a real rampage there. Sorry. Hello, Mr. Brain. He's connecting his audio. Good thing I looked at the chat to notice that. Yes, McCarthy's on the list, definitely. He outed himself. Hello, Dark Brain.
Hello, Aaron. How are you tonight?
If I was doing any better, my name would be Dark Brain.
Hey. Cool. Great show tonight.
13-month project?
Yes, that's right.
Now, what kind of project can you talk about? Is it top secret?
No, it's not top secret. It is full completion. Now I'm going to show it off to the world. It was a rifle build.
Okay.
Yeah, I built an AR-15, which doesn't really take that long, but
Wow.
I decided to do a full custom paint job mainly is what took the longest, but full custom build from the ground up.
Wow.
So I started in February 2021, right after old Potato Brain took over.
God.
So it took me a while to source all the parts because there was complete shortage.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff was missing. You could find things, but everything was premium price at that point in time.
Wow.
Things have gotten a bit better. Prices have gone down, but this was in the, 13, 14 months ago, prices were through the roof. So, but I was like, heck with it. It's the end of the world. Might as well splurge. So started gathering everything up, and that took a while, finding all the little sundries, but piece by piece, got it all in. And it was actually, if I was to do it all over again, I don't know that I would, but all said and done, it was actually pretty good learning process. I learned a lot of new skills, got a lot of new tools. So I decided, I'm going to do this custom paint job. It's AR-15, lots of kind of unique pieces to it, but I painted the whole thing with a 2-part epoxy paint. Duracoat is what they call it, and this was a even more particular product that they have. Anyway, it's all chrome with all gold accents, all the little bits and pieces of it are gold, but the main thing's all this like very shiny chrome paint.
Wow.
Came out pretty darn cool. Looks like a Terminator, looks like a Star Trek space phaser or something. I'll get some pictures taken this weekend and I'll post them. Maybe I'll send you the link for that. But it was a pretty good learning process. I had all these parts, and then some of the pieces that you would get for a rifle, say the butt stock, I ended up taking that all apart, like down to its nuts and bolts, and piecing out all the stuff that I was gonna actually paint. Before masking it, I ended up wiring it all up, like building these little wire holders, if you will, so that I could have something to hold on to paint it, something to hang it with while it dries, etc.
Mhm.
So that took some months because I wasn't working on it too hardcore, maybe like one day a week or something, maybe 1 or 2 days on the weekends, spend a few hours wiring it up. And then once I got it all wired up, then go back and mask it real careful, you know, with an X-Acto knife, cutting out all the masking to get it all cool.
Wow.
Make sure all the moving parts weren't going to get this paint, because I had no idea. I was learning, so I didn't know if the paint was going to be too thick to obscure moving parts that have tight tolerances.
Right.
So that took some months, and in the interim while I was doing that, I wanted to learn how to paint. I'm not a painter, so I said, "Oh, I'm going to learn how to use this new paint." You know, it's not like spray paint; it's a 2-part epoxy paint. So you mix a hardener with the paint,
Wow.
and figure out, you know, how thick a coat needs to be, maybe how many coats you need to put on it, and then maybe come back with a clear coat, etc. And
Wow.
you gotta prep it. So you gotta sandblast the surface
Mm.
to prep what do they call it? You rough up the surface, give it something to give a bite to.
Yeah.
So I figured, I'm gonna do a test run. So I said, I've got this table vise, like a pretty nice Wilton table vise, and it was fire damaged. It'd been through a fire. It was completely trashed. So I said, I'm gonna revamp this as a test run. Well, that got into a whole nother game. So I this was oh man, this was last year, mid spring probably. I'm gonna redo this vise. So I pull it all apart. It's completely caked with soot, yes, but being through this fire, it was like
Warped.
covered and caked with like very oily, greasy black soot. You
Oh.
couldn't hardly wash the stuff off. So I said, I got to sandblast this thing. So I got a sandblasting gun and some sand from like a hardware store, sand, sifted 30 grit, I think it was.
Yeah.
I ended up setting up like a box just outside. I made sort of a little tarp brick. So I had some sides and then a table with like just a cardboard box set up. So I could sandblast it in there, and the sand would kind of come out and end up in the tarp. And I could sweep it up, pick out all the leaves and whatnot, and use it again. So I didn't just waste the sand, right? And that worked all right for a little while. You know, it was kind of a hassle. And of course, the first time I did it, I was cut, you know, I went and looked in the mirror, my entire face, except for where my goggles were, was just black from this. I mean, this thing had some serious gunk on it. And I would sandblast it forever, and it just took forever. And it finally, some of it came off, but I ended up having to use like a windbreaker, and I'd zip it down to where just my goggles and my dust mask were sticking out. So that kind of kept the gunk off, and it was working okay. But I said, nah, this ain't gonna work. I got to I got to get a sandblasting cabinet. So I bought one, little Harbor Freight cabinet, and realized this thing puts out too much dust. I've got to get a dust collector for it. So I ended up building a dust collector. I got a vacuum. Actually, I burned up one vacuum just dust collecting with it. Too much dust. It was an old shoddy vacuum anyway, but it burned it up in like an hour.
Wow.
So I got a better vacuum, and then I built a cyclonic dust collector. Basically built it out of 2 5-gallon buckets. So it make and some PVC and whatnot. So you make a little cyclone in there, and it'll collect all the, not the super fine stuff, but it'll collect all the bigger stuff. and you'll end up with dirt in that bucket and just barely a little bit of dirt in your vacuum, and maybe some fine stuff on the filter that you can blow off with the compressor. So that was like a pretty good project there. I learned a lot there, building this cyclone. And truthfully, it ended up being even a bigger project because the buckets, the vacuum was too strong. It would collapse the 5-gallon buckets because they were cheapos. They're kind of flimsy or whatever. They both collapsed. So I had to build like a wooden skeleton frame sort of on the inside of it to keep it from collapsing.
Oh, man.
And I ended up buying like a variable voltage transformer so that I could turn the vacuum down so it wasn't full blast. So I got this all figured out and it was working real good. And then I was able to go in there and just sandblast all those parts, tons of little parts, sandblast all the parts of this vise. And it took forever because, man, you'd sandblast the hell out of it. And the stuff would kind of move. It would just like sort of move to the other side. You'd sandblast the other side and move to the other side.
Oh,
so I went at that thing forever, weeks, like probably 2 or 3 weeks. I was just every morning I'd go in there and sandblast a little bit. Finally got it. And then I'd go put it out in the sun, you know, like the big old chunk, the big old piece of the vise, super heavy. And it's out of, what do you call it? Cast steel, but like I don't know, what do you call that stuff? Wrought iron. It's like kind of like wrought iron, but it's like this real bumpy cast steel. So man, I couldn't hardly get the stuff out of there. I'd think it was clean. I'd go put it out in the sunlight and I'd be like, oh, there's about 5 spots I missed. Go hit them again. I'd be like, oh, there's about 5 other spots I missed. So I went at that thing forever. Finally got it done and then painted it, and I got a hang of that paint. Man, it was good, and that thing came out cherry.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I did a couple of techniques that I thought I was going to use on this build. I didn't end up using them, but doing like there's some raised lettering and some depressed lettering on this vise. So like for the depressed lettering, I thought, oh, I'll just paint over it, like put some paint on it, and then use a solvent and wipe the paint off the top, leaving paint in the depressions.
Yeah.
Well, the depressions weren't quite deep enough. So I ended up having to use a very fine brush to fill those in, just kind of dab paint in there. So that worked. Okay. And then for the raised lettering, I did it black and silver. So the raised lettering is all silver. So I painted the raised lettering all silver, let it dry. I think I clear coated it as well. And then I painted over it black. Boom. And while it was still a little bit wet, I went over the raised lettering with some solvent and wiped away the black, leaving just the raised lettering in silver. So that was a cool technique I learned.
Okay.
Anyway, got that all figured out, and stop me when I've gone too long, because I mean I could go for 13 months telling you about this, but
I bet.
But anyway, I learned doing that vise how the paint goes, how to use. I ended up using for the rifle. I ended up using just an airbrush, like a Pash airbrush, because it puts out a small enough amount of paint that I wasn't just wasting paint. For the vise, I ended up getting like a kind of a cheapo, just regular like car airbrush, I guess you might say, like a full size painting spray gun. Anyway, that worked pretty good. So I learned how to use that, even though I didn't use it for this project, but I learned how to use it. Ended up gathering a bunch of new tools. Like I got a compressor, I got this airbrush, I got the sandblasting cabinet and all that. And I can use that for other tools, rusty tools and stuff. I can refinish those.
Sure.
Figured out that little airbrush, and I had that from way back and never really used it, but so I started using that.
And you can use you can use a
Oh.
sandblaster. You could take templates made out of something that won't get destroyed by the sandblaster and sandblast different things to get, rough textures in different areas.
Yeah, or like maybe a glass or something, put a logo on it, things like that. Yeah, that thing's gonna be pretty useful, because I got a friend has taught me reloading, and he goes to flea markets and finds old rusty junked out tools You know, he'll find something that's made in the USA, but it's all old and rusty like a shovel head. And he'll go sandblast that thing, refinish it, paint it, put a brand new handle on it. And he's got a, you know, $30-$40 shovel for whatever, $3 down at the flea market.
Mhm.
Just a little bit of elbow grease. So he does all kinds of tool refinishing. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to start doing some of that too, I think.
Neat.
Yeah.
My first sandblasting adventure was on my first car. I took the body off the frame. It was a 1934 Chevrolet 5-window coupe, and I sandblasted the frame.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, I sandblasted the frame. That was
Oh.
it's just out in the driveway, so it's just sand just went everywhere. I didn't really care.
Yeah.
It took a while.
Sacrifice it.
It took a while.
I bet it did. I bet that took a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had a handful of parts, and it took me weeks to get it all sandblasted. Holy moly, a frame, that's some serious business.
So wow, you started off doing, I think I'll just do this one project. Oh, now I need this. Now I need that. Pretty soon you're all set up to do all this stuff you never did before. That's incredible. But that's how it goes. You know, one little job turns into 25 other little jobs, right?
It did, yeah. It just kind of snowballed. Like I said, if I had to do it again, I'm not entirely certain I would, but yeah, probably I would, just because I learned a lot of new stuff. Now I got some new tools and new skills, figured out how to paint.
Yeah.
I ended up you know, then wiring up and masking, that took forever. I don't know if I learned anything there other than I hate masking.
Oh,
It just
well, my first car, I painted flames on it. I painted red and yellow flames on it, but it was a pea green car. When I pulled the tape off and all the paper, I did not like the way it looked. So I had to tape the flames off and paint the rest of it black. So I taped the flames off twice. So,
oh wow.
But yeah, that was the Ratmobile. Of course, you've probably seen that, right?
I did, yeah. And that was pretty nice. I mean, you got painting skills. I'm a newbie.
I was a 16-year-old with spray cans. There's nothing really great about it, but the little kids thought it was pretty cool. Little teeny kids would go, "Wow, is that the Ratmobile?" Yeah, it's a Ratmobile.
Heck yeah.
It was-
Yes, this thing was quite an adventure.
Yeah,
But,
sounds like
you
it.
know, I ended up doing the sandblasting on those other parts. That came out real good and super easy with that cabinet because it contains it all. You know, I had to go over a few parts a few times, but got all that done and then started getting into the painting. I think I started the paint this January, and it took me about I want to say a little longer. It took me about 9 weeks to finish. So again, it was this newer paint. So the other one's a 2-part epoxy, and I got pretty good at that. This new one though is a weirdo. It's this chrome paint is not a 2-part, but you do lay down a base coat, a high gloss black base coat that's epoxy. And then the chrome is a single part, quick drying paint, although you got to wait 24 hours before you add any more coats. So I had this whole scheme in my mind to do it. And then the gold is a 2-part epoxy, clear or transparent gold top coat over the chrome. So the chrome mirror finish shines through the gold transparency to give it this gold effect. And then a clear coat over the top of that. So it's this like 4-part process.
Yeah.
Anyway.
That's neat. Wow.
So I did all the gold parts first. And as it turns out, I ended up getting a bunk batch of chrome. So they say, oh, you only need 1 coat. And really, if you have to do a second coat, do it. But it should just be 1 coat to make it nice and mirrory. So I put a coat on and the thing's barely got any sheen to it. I mean, it's got a little sparkle or whatever. So then I wait a day and I do a second coat. And that's it's better, but it's not saturated. And so I ended up a third coat, and that finally gets it there. So I ended up using a whole bottle of this stuff, like 4 ounces. And it's, I'm using this stuff 3 times faster than I'm supposed to. So I ended up running out. But anyway, so I ended up using all this stuff to do all the gold pieces. And the stuff is it's the hardest paint I've ever used, this particular batch. Because to get the saturation, I was trying to add too much, and I'd get all these streaks, and the metallic flakes in there start running and moving, and they do all this weird stuff. Surface tension moves it all over. Any dip or dive in the surface, they run in all these weird patterns and such. So it didn't come out perfect. It gets all these sort of mottled streaks and what have you that I could never get rid of. You go back with a second coat over the top, it doesn't cover it up, it just adds more.
Right.
So I was battling this thing for weeks and weeks. Finally, I got all the gold done, and I was like, it ain't perfect, but it gives it character, let's say, even though it's not perfect. So then I say, all right, well, I'm out of the chrome, and I've still got the big pieces. I left all the big pieces, the upper and lower receiver, and the stock and the handguard for last, till I got good. So I'm like, I'm out of this stuff. So I had to order more. I had to call the company and be like, don't, because it kind of comes in like a 4-part kit or 3-part package. So I had to beg them, sell me just the chrome. It was expensive as hell. The paint's expensive as hell. Sure. Anyway, I get the new chrome batch in, go to do the first piece expecting the same scenario. I lay 1 coat on, boom, saturated, full chrome, mirror finish, first go around. I ended up adding a second coat just to get all the nooks and crannies, but it was a completely different paint, completely different thing. Had I known that, I would have sent them back the one and been able to do it a lot faster, but I had no idea. I had no experience with this stuff. I just thought I was a bad painter. Anyway, once I got to the big pieces, it was smooth sailing from there and came out perfect on those. So what a semi nightmare, but man, I learned a lot about painting, more than I probably ever wanted to know.
Yeah. Well,
anyway, finally cranked it out. And then I spent the last week, and then the stuff takes a while to dry. They say wait 3 weeks for it to fully cure, to be like as hard as it'll be and as chemical resistant as it'll be. So I did. I waited 3 weeks, started demasking everything, trimming all the edges of the paint where the masking tape was to make them nice and smooth. And so got all that finished off. And then last week I started actually building the thing. So on Friday night, I think I'd gotten most of the stuff demasked, all but 1 piece. And then Friday night, I was like, all right, I'm going to build this sucker. So I did. The hardest part was probably the barrel installation, because it didn't quite fit. The barrel extension, I measured it, was with the calipers, was like 1.00 inches. And the hole that it had to fit in the receiver, it was a tight fit, I knew. I measured that, and it was like 0.998 inches smaller. So basically it doesn't fit. But I figured out a way. I started reading around online to some forums and whatnot, and they say take a heat gun to that barrel extension and just heat the hell out of it, hotter than the blazes, and that'll expand the aluminum a little bit. And then lots of grease it up, and put the barrel into the refrigerator, cool that down, and then add some stuff for protection of like the threads and whatnot. But basically, you do all that, shove it in there, and it went about halfway, and I had everything set up, and then you just go to town on it with a rubber mallet, or in my case, a wooden mallet, but you get it in as far as it'll go, lined up, and then just go to wailing on it with a mallet. And that didn't take too much. It went right in after a few horazos with the mallet.
I mean, did you have to repaint it then? Or was that part painted or not? Or maybe you didn't?
No. The very back of the receiver was not painted, and I had it up against a bunch of towels and stuff to protect it. And then the other end is the front of the barrel that has that's threaded. So you had to protect the thread. So I didn't paint the barrel because it was already stainless steel color. So I didn't paint that, but so I just added a bunch of cardboard and stuff to protect those threads, and a wooden block on top of that, and just went at it, and it went perfect.
Oh, good.
And then everything from there on out was just turning wrenches and fitting stuff and grease and Loctite and what have you, and it all came together. And so
Well,
anyway,
I think
that
you
took
got
me
one more-
six.
six.
Oh, go ahead.
6 weeks.
6 days. So I started last Friday, and every night after work, I went in there and probably spent 5 or 6 hours at least just going at it. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, 6 days. And then I spent day 7 cutting out the foam to fit it into a case. So full week of build to get it where it needs to be.
Wow.
It's the easy part. the many moons leading up to it was the real kicker. But it's done now, and I'm pretty psyched on it. I'm stoked. That was a chunk of my life right there. But man, I learned some skills and upped my game big time.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It sounds
the
like.
deal.
Hey, you know what? You might not be done yet.
I suspect you're right.
Because I'm going to pull this up here. I just did a quick little search. You might like this. You might not be done yet, and I don't know how much longer it's going to take you to do this, but am I freezing up? We'll have to see if this is going to work. Here it is. You got to paint the bullets too, buddy. But I think
I might very well do that.
But actually, you need the screaming teeth, like on the front of some of those old airplanes, you know, the big screaming teeth, like a shark, you know.
Yep, absolutely. That's not a bad idea. I might take a paintbrush and do one like that just for a
Yeah, and then
showpiece or something.
and at some point, some doctor's going to pull a bullet out of someone and say, "Oh, look at the face on this one." Oh yeah, look at the face on that bullet.
Heck yeah. That's not a bad idea, actually. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Oh wow, it sounds like a heck of a project. Wow.
Oh, it was quite a project, and it. Oh boy, I'm kind of glad to be done with it, and I'm pretty happy with the finished product. And there's some mistakes. It's sure not perfect, and at one point I was tightening something and I couldn't get it, and it slipped, and I put a big old gouge right in the fresh paint. And I was like, oh man.
No.
I found some other different gold paint and touched it up, and put some like nail polish clear lacquer over that to smooth it. And so far nobody's noticed. I mean, the whole thing's so bling bling. I mean, it's like El Chapo gun, you'd find it in a cartelle stash house or something. I mean, the thing's so shiny and flashy, everybody's like can't hardly look at the thing because it's so gaudy. But so that helps detract from the one little scratch I put in it. But
yeah, wow, that's really interesting. Well, I think we're gonna wrap this baby up. Any last words you want to say to our friends out here, Dark Brain? And I got to thank you again, Dark Brain, for all the great modulating that you do, and to all the other mods as well. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. Well, much love to everybody in chat, and sorry I haven't been in there the last week or so. I've been just trying to crank this thing out, and I've been listening every night, but haven't been able to watch the chat. So great shows. I
had a feeling you were busy working on something. I didn't know what it was though. So good to know what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that and a couple other projects I've been going pretty hard at. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm keeping busy. It's good.
All right. Well, keep us posted on the rest of the things that you do. You got an interesting life. And hey, if you need anything sandblasted, call Dark Brain. He can help
Heck
you.
yeah, I'm all set up. Do
Dark
it.
Brain sandblasting. There you go. All right.
But
Well,
yeah.
thanks for calling in, Dark Brain. I really appreciate you. You're an awesome dude. Thank you very much.
Right on. Thank you very much, Aaron. I'll send you a couple pictures or something, and then you can show it off for me sometime.
Sounds cool. All right.
All right.
Thank you, buddy.
All right. We'll see you Sunday.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Take care, my man. Check these. Here we go.
Sunday. Okay, friends. Well, we did it again. Episode 162, part 2. There's 2 parts to this show. Because we had a little bit of difficulties, had to stop the show and do it again. So I want to thank everyone for coming along. This was a lot of fun. We had some callers today, some great callers, some great stories. Thank you so much for coming along in the spaceship with the Truth Quest. You're the best Truth Questers in the universe. Thank you. Thank you for liking and sharing. Thank you for all your support, everyone who's super chatted. I really appreciate it. You guys rock. And remember, we're just downrange of strange, where the outrageous is contagious and the paranormal is the new normal. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Yes, there we are. And we'll see you on Monday for another episode of Truth Quest with Aaron Moriarty. Until then, keep your cameras trained to the skies so you can take a picture of that UFO so you can come on to the Truth Quest and talk about it. Until then, peace in. Take care. Love ya.